Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To TS Razani bin Muhammad Saad. My name is Muhammad Harib bin Badri Sham, entry number A23KM0174, and today I want to present my research finding about compostable plastic, a plastic that is designed to degrade in composting condition. So firstly, we move to what is compostable plastic. According to international standard and US standard, compostable plastic must undergo biological decomposition, specifically in composting landfill, to be labeled as compostable. So this plastic must decompose and produce only carbon dioxide, water and biomass, or we call it as humus, within the time frame of 9 months, which is the first 3 months. This integration process take place, and the next 6 months is the biodegrade take place. After this time of period, this waste must not leave any residue and must pass the ecotoxicity test, in which they will not harm the environment. These days, there's a lot of eco material, and the most known subcategory of this eco material is biodegradable and compostable. Do you know that compostable are biodegradable, but not all biodegradable are compostable? There's a similarity and difference between these two materials. For the similarity, both compostable and biodegradable will decompose and produce CO2, water and biomass. But for biodegradable, it can be decomposed anywhere, such as your backyard or compost bin, and it depends on the surrounding environment, such as heat and moisture, to indicate whether how long the process will be. And for biodegradable plastic, there is no specific condition like it may leave a residue after this process. But for compostable, this process must be specifically done in a composting industrial site and must follow the strict condition of 9 months period, which I mentioned earlier, 3 months period of disintegration, and the 6-month period of biodegradation. So, and also this process must also not leave any residue and must not harm our ecosystem after the process completed. For compostable plastic to be labeled as one, they must be evaluated and pass through 3 criteria, which is the first one is disintegration, the second one is biodegradation, and the third one is non-toxicity. For the first one, disintegration, or known as physical breakdown, compostable plastic must be breakdown into 2mm size within the first 3 months and must not leave more than 10% of the original size. This process are crucial to ensure that there is no residual left during the final result. The second criteria is biodegradation, or known as chemical breakdown. After the material have been breakdown into 2mm size, microbial activity will take place and break down this material even more. And also the same, it must not leave more than 10% of the material original size, and most of this material must be converted into carbon dioxide gas. And the third criteria is non-toxicity. After the 9 months of time frame have gone, the final form of decomposition must not leave any toxic compounds, and these have been tested to a plant in which this final product must not harm or kill the plant. So for overall tests, there will be exactly about 10% of residue, but this residue must not give any effect to our environment, and also does not promote to any chemical harm to our ecosystem. Next, compostable plastic can only be done in an industrial composting site and must follow 4 strict specifications to ensure the process completed successfully. The first specification is temperature. Industrial composting site must maintain high heat around 43 degrees Celsius to 65 degrees Celsius to help in breaking down the chain of the polymer. Moisture also must be present about 40 to 65%. This moisture also promote to a good microbial activity and ensure good aeration in the compound. The third specification is oxygen. Oxygen also helps a good microbial activity, and at least 5% of oxygen must be present. If the process lack of oxygen, it will lead to anaerobic condition, which is methane gas, and bad odor will be produced, also called as the process is failed. Lastly is the carbon-nitrogen ratio, and it must be in between of 25 to 1 and 30 to 1. Next, we move to the type of material used to produce compostable plastic. There are two most known material, which is PLA and PBAT. For PLA, it came from a bio-based material, which is it came from plants such as starch. The physical property, it has high transparency, high elasticity, and the material is brittle. But for PBAT, it came from a petrochemical base. The physical property, it has flexibility and toughness. So the similarity of this product, it has a same specification of moisture, heat and temperature, and also produce same output, which is oxygen is needed at least of 5% and moisture needed about 40% to 65%, and the heat is needed around 45 degrees Celsius to 65 degrees Celsius, and the end product for both material are carbon dioxide, water and biomass. But there is a specialty for PLA plastic since it came from a bio-based material. This material can also be decomposed in a home composting method, and 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius is needed for this plastic to break down. So for the home composting method, the plastic may also not degrade at all and may leave the residue. Next, we move to mechanism of the process of decomposition of compostable plastic. So there are three mechanisms involved, in which the first one is hydrolysis and fermentation. In this mechanism, PLA and PBAT will begin to degrade when water and heat start to interact with the polymer molecule. So this helps the polymer to break down into small pieces and reduce its molecular weight. There are also several non-biological factors that helps to promote fermentation, which is heat, moisture, UV light and surrounding pH level. So after the polymer being broken down, there is a follow-up process where bacteria and fungi take place to further break down. This mechanism is called as enzymatic depolymerization. Bacteria and fungi will further break down the fragmented material and turn them into monomers and polygomers. And the final product is microorganism will absorb and metabolize the small molecule and fully converted it into a natural substances and leave no residue and no harmful compound spread to our environment. These are the steps on how compostable plastic from the beginning of its life until it being processed completely. So firstly, people throw the compostable plastic such as plastic fork, and the waste is being collected by the waste truck and being sent to the industrial compost site. There, all the process and mechanism will take place and change the plastic fork to carbon dioxide, water and biomass. Next, we move to application and benefits of compostable plastic. As we know, compostable plastic being used widely in many sectors such as industrial, agriculture and even F&B sector. So for F&B sector, we can find compostable plastic in form of fork, spoon, plate, cup and many more. Because usually cutlery being contaminated by food waste, and it is hard to separate the waste from the recyclable plastic. So how does this benefits the our sector F&B? Because compostable plastic can be mixed with the food waste and be processed in one industrial composting site. So this overall waste will be break down and processed into becoming compost that is valuable to our soil. There's few challenges of using compostable plastic in our daily life, and one of them is compostable material cannot be mixed with recyclable materials. Compostable plastic cannot go into the stream of process of recyclable materials, same are its opposite. This will make the system disrupted and resulting to complication of the system, and also become the contamination to the other system process. Next, compostable plastic are also very highly system dependency, which means it cannot jump to other steps. It must follow the steps accurately, or the process might fail and give no benefits to our ecosystem. Furthermore, it also costs a lot, since compostable plastic cannot be mixed with other materials, so it needs to be picked up separately by using different transportation, worker, and even other waste type. There's also risk for compostable plastic to change into microplastic because the process being disrupted and does not continue. This may caused by the lack of specification listed, making the microbial process cannot biodegrade the plastic further. And lastly, compostable plastic is very process dependent, meaning that without the presence of heat, moisture and oxygen, the plastic won't be processed into carbon dioxide, water and biomass, and thus making it does not vulnerable to our ecosystem. For future improvement, there's a lot of things that we can do to make compostable plastic useful, and I want to only emphasize two methods, in which the first one, material improvement, by making future research to enhance the material property, maybe by blending the PLA and PBAT materials with other substances to make it more easily biodegrade. And the second future improvement we can make is by making compostable plastic as a standard. Global policies should be declared where compostable plastic are widely produced, used and composed correctly. Clearly labeling should also be implemented so people will know whether the plastic are compostable or not. So in conclusion, both PLA and PBAT plastic material offer a better alternative for the application of a single-use plastic like cutlery, where food waste is difficult to separate from it. It helps by reducing organic waste in municipal landfill and reduce greenhouse effect. However, compostable plastic are really process dependent, in which if any of the criteria that have been studied is absent during the process, this may lead to failure and worsen the environment. Future of success of compostable plastic are not solely depends on material innovation. Instead, it is more rely on social practice and potential by educate people to correctly dispose waste and have a correct labeling on product. So that's all from my presentation today. Thank you.